necessarily if it has to do so much on comfort levels, but I do know that Totoro was a really big Braum player back in his brief time in the LCK.
Sure, I mean, it's not always a great thing if you have to first pick it when the enemy team just grabs Tam Kench and they're like, hey, thank you. You didn't actually gain anything with your first pick. And blue side right now is considered the strongest side in pick and ban phase because there's so many strong picks that even if you only get to pick one at first, in the next round, there's still 2 of the very strong picks left for you to grab. And now with the first pick, you just get to decide which one you want the most. Is it Sejuani? Is it Azir? In this case, with the Rise ban for ROCCAT. Well, then you can grab it with the first pick, and you're not losing too much on the other side because there's so many good picks.
Yeah, a lot of viable things, of course. Unicorns, the Rise ban, the less conventional Evelynn ban. What else are they going to opt to remove? It was a smattering of roles on ROCCAT's side with a mid laner, a jungler, an AD carry all banned away. So trying to mix things up. And there's that Tom Kench banned away. Deficio's happy.
Unicorns definitely want to get the Braum in their first rotation if ROCCAT doesn't grab it. Azir is open. If you're ROCCAT though, you might actually not grab Azir just because Exileh's performance on it was so bad yesterday that you're actually fine with him grabbing it. And you can save it for later if there's something else you want to first pick. But with the current bans, I think Azir first pick is fine.
Yeah.
Also things like Kalista and Israel available, so there were definitely a lot of options for them.
Yeah, clearly they trusted Blanc a little bit more, at least wanted to give him that option. Now, we've seen Kold play a number of very different champions than back when he was known by the moniker Trashy, but this is a lot more in his wheelhouse. I think they were just flashing it for the fun. And Unicorns of Love might be mixing things up a little bit here. It still might be that support first pickup.
See here, I'm trying to predict the Braum because they first pick it yesterday, and then they switch it up, it looks like,
Surprise
and now they want to play Alistar, so...
Okay.
I'm glad to see Alistar. He's the kind of champion...
Alistar Kalista!
Okay, that's nice.
All right, I like this.
All right. Unicorns of Love, aggressive bot lane, can promote a lot more. Focus around that one if you want to try and get some kills, especially after level 6, where you can tower dive with Alistar. I like this switch here for that bottom lane. ROCCAT can still just go Braum if they want to. It is available for them, and it's the best support left, so...
Might as well. I mean, at some point, when you're hurling the Alistar in, that's an unstoppable force, and then the Braum, he's an immovable object, so he's going to be able to stop things up.
We could see Israel here for Heaq, trying to get a champion that can actually dodge away from things like, you know, Kalista Alistar. At least plays a little bit safer. Tristana also one of the picks to look at.
I feel like the Tristana might be a little bit more what they want to do, but there's another option entirely, and it's the Caitlyn. So a lane bully paired up with the Braum.
If they are pushing this bottom lane, Unicorns of Love can try and punish it with this combination bot.
That was a quick Vlad lock in.
All right, it is a flex choice. Exileh used to be a big Vladimir player in mid. It is, of course, also still a choice for top lane, and we have seen Faker grab the Vladimir against Azir specifically.
How'd that work out?
He lost the game, but his laning phase was fine.
Well, there
Sadly
you go.
for Faker and SKT, they lose a lot of games right now.
Well, it's a new season, that's for sure, over in Korea as well as everywhere else. But back here in Europe, ban phase 2, we start up. The Nars banned away from Prophet. Back over to ROCCAT. It's the only champion Prophet's played so far, so we'll have to dip his feet into the pool.
He can just grab Ornn or something.
Yeah.
Then
Speaking of SKT, did you know Prophet used to play for them?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I don't think we've ever said that here on this broadcast.
I don't think so. Not once.
It was definitely not our one storyline for Prophet last split.
Okay. Zach is going to get banned.
And with this Vladimir being a flex choice for Unicorns, we have to see if they still want to keep target top lane and potentially just put the Vladimir top and still pick something against Azir here. Exileh has always been a person who's had a bit of a unique champion pool and not been afraid of grabbing some of the non-meta picks if he needed to. In this case here, if he wants to try and grab his Kassadin against Azir, he can. He will lose early game, but late game it does work okay. I wouldn't really call it a counter by any means, but it is an option for him.
No, but they are definitely trying to bamboozle ROCCAT a little bit, giving themselves some more options. Now, there are a lot of jungle bans. The Sejuani, the Zac, the Jarvan, all of them ROCCAT have banned away from the Unicorns of Love. But Kold's been playing these carry junglers.
Yeah.
Does he stick to this strategy? The Rengar is up.
I mean, Rengar is an option.
Pain again.
Skarner is also a thing we've seen more and more in the UOL CS. So there's enough choices here for Kold, but Memento as well. Memento used to be a huge carry jungler. Like back when Graves was meta, he played it all the time. So I think for him, he can also just respond with a Gragas, which we have seen at least once, but if he wants to try and go toe-to-toe with the Rengar here, we need to see something more aggressive from his side.
That'd be pretty cool to see, in all honesty. I think you having a little bit of fun.
Freddy special.
Yeah, the Freddy special. I guess you got to give that one to the team for certain. Ornn was left up, of course, so
predicted.
Wouldn't be a whole lot surprising to see that one locked in for Profit, and it is. And now we get the answer. What does Memento play? Used to be the big carry jungler, wants to play more tanks these days, wants to be the big leader for Team ROCCAT.
Well, does he want to play a Skarner this time around?
That's a tank.
They have engaged right now from the Ornn and can use the Skarner plus Caitlyn to just keep someone locked down for a long time. It is available. Jack's jungle is something I want to see.
There we go, Memento.
Finally.
How about that?
This is being played over in LCK quite a lot. We also saw it in NA Academy League yesterday. Jack's jungle is really good against some of these other carry junglers because he can duel them very effectively due to his stun being so good in these 1v1 situations. And his base damage once he hits level 6 is very high, so he can actually build tank. And we get a GP top as well here from Unicorns Aloft. So what I like is I see a lot of engage options, especially from Unicorns Aloft, and I see a lot of squishy targets that can die very quickly.
Yeah, we are going to have a lot of action this game.
We actually promised that last game, and then HK didn't do anything.
We don't talk about
20 minutes, and then Giants won.
People just tuned in for this one. They turned off last night. We got different audience, Deficio. It's okay.
Well, I like the fact Unicorns Aloft finally get to show the Alistar. Alistar in Europe is either banned in some games or not touched at all in other games. And we finally get to see someone show us the Alistar, even better with the Kalista on the side of Samux.
Yeah, a good pairing. I like to see what they did with this one. Better draft out of Sheepy. We talked about this team trying to build themselves an identity. Well, I feel like no matter what, when you're wearing that pink jersey, something just switches on in your head. You want to be more aggressive. I want to see if Unicorns can fully embody that spirit up against ROCCAT. It's going to be a tough task against the 2-1 team. But can they do it? Can the Unicorns pick up their first one of the split, start their contention? Or will ROCCAT join Giants up near the top at 3-1?
We did talk about all the engage options from Unicorns Aloft with Alistar, Kalista ulti, Rengar. Their entire draft does rely a lot on level 6 to really start enabling that. If you want the Kalista ulti, if you want the Rengar ult, Unicorns will be fine waiting for that first ulti mark before starting all the action.
Level 6. That's what we're going to be watching for.
Nobody ever makes a sign saying, Deficio, give me a kiss.
I mean, you know, just because you're giving them the quick shot all the time.
I'm offering them.
Oh, okay.
Actually, I'm asking for them.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, see, now they're disappointed.
I know.
All right, it's nighttime on Summoner's Rift as we load up, and of course the Unicorns faithful always making noise in the crowd.
And you get Dematerializer for Exileh as well. We talked about that last game already against Azir, how it's so effective to use against the cannon minions to kill them instantly. Provide a little bit more push for yourself in that mid lane. And it is that Exileh Vladimir, as we also talked about how it is an old pick for him.
Starting on the Ignite too.
And it is one of these champions where we have seen amazing late game team fights from Exileh, and we have seen really strange early games where level 2, level 3, he could go for all ins and he would suddenly get caught under a turret and die. In this game here, we just want to see him farm for level 6, get Kold to level 6 as well, and then you can start doing something, because there's no cleanse on Blanc's side. He can't change these summoners, so a Rengar ulti is going to be very effective at trying to lock him down if they want to go for mid lane.
Yeah, and they might try to shut down Blanc early on. He's been honestly striking fear in the hearts of mid laners across the European LCS. As we get this one underway, Kold's going to get the assist from WhiteKnight. Meanwhile, his opposite number, Memento, will have the same from Profit, starting off in red and blue, respectively. But as you mentioned, level 6, that's the mark we're looking for in this game, before the Unicorns decide to hit that go button.
ROCCAT side, a bit more focus on the scaling, go strong. Early duelist with the Jax here. And the first clear from Jax is not the greatest in the world. He can drop a little bit low from it, but once he gets past the first clear, he's more than fine in the jungle. And as I talked about already, the fact he has the stun makes it hard for other these duelists to kind of deal with him. Pure 1v1. So he ends up just getting a lot of farm. Doesn't necessarily have to look for a lot of ganks. And once he then gets to Cinderhulk, which is the common build from him, he gets fairly tanky as well with the stats he gets from the ulti when you level that one up and activate it. So Jax is one of these picks where you think he's just going to go raw damage and be a split pusher. But in this case, he's actually a bit more of a tank with just high base damage and who adds CC as well.
But of course, it's not just about the champion, it's also about the player that's piloting him. And you talked about it in Pick and Ban, Memento being the guy that wants to step up, become a carry for his team. We heard it on the analyst desk as well. And I feel like both these junglers, they've kind of had mirrored stories to one another. In all honesty, Kold, previously Trashy, he was kind of almost default that. The older guy on Splice for a long time, right? Settled in directly into this leadership role. But he used to play the tanks, now he plays the carries. Memento used to play the carries, and now he plays the tanks.
I'll still say Jax is enough of a carry for Memento to try and shine on it, but 100% with Kold here, big change for him trying to be one of the main damage threats on this new Unicorns Love lineup. He obviously will rely on Samux and Exileh to be the main carries in late game fights, and this game also WhiteKnight on the GP. Bot lane, Rengar's first gank kind of requires Norskeren to walk up and show himself close to the brush. Hard to pull it off, so he just goes back to base.
Yeah, it's difficult to gank when there's a Braum. Of course, Heaq, talked about picking safe carries. You mentioned the Ezreal might have been a possibility, but on this Caitlyn, it's also definitely the case. Memento going up, getting a ward just outside of the Baron pit on the UOL side. Take a look up towards the top. Prophet had only ever played Gnar up until this point. Now he's on the Ornn, and we've seen some serious Ornn outplays. I'm wondering if Kold maybe doesn't decide to go up here, but he's spotted by a deep ward.
And Ornn is one of these champions that's so good on stage because games are slower, and his ulti gives you a lot of safe ways to try and start a fight because the range is so long, he doesn't really have to expose himself when he's doing it. And if he then connects it, well, then you have a way to start it and engage. So Ornn is just such an effective tank in many ways because he offers both utility and even some decent early game damage.
Yeah.
Good trade here between the bot lanes. Really want to see Kalista Alistar be aggressive, especially once they hit level 6.
Yet. Not just yet. Kold, who was sniffing around for Prophet. Of course, I think everyone's a little wary of diving in Ornn after we saw what happened last time.
Memento is looking for something bot lane. They're going for Samux at the moment.
Well, that's the exhaust. Heal's already used. This could be dangerous. Get the stun off, flashing away. Memento with the counter-strike in the leap in. Gets another stun off, and Samux is running for his life. He's healed up just enough. He's out.
Memento with the first gank here. Flasher out of the headbutt from Totoro, but could not kill Samux. 3 summoners down, though.
Yeah, it cost them very dearly to keep their bot lane alive, but no first blood over to ROCCAT. Meanwhile, bit of trading in the mid. Exileh going very aggressive, looking for Blanc. He's got to be careful, though. Memento could be making a trip up to mid lane anytime.
Oh, he's looking for gank number 2 now.
Oh, no, he takes a tower.
That's the
and
classic.
Soldiers. Exileh going deep. He's got a flash. He might have to use it, but just outside the range.
Not taking any chances here, knowing Exileh can pull out of a stun as well, but the mid lane matchup is just Vladimir with enough sustain to be able to just stay near the minion waves and constantly try and push them. Azir can't really get the Vladimir low enough to try and kill him or force him out of lane, so Exileh is just getting a lot of free farm at the moment. Gets his level 6 now as well. It's a good start from the Vlad.
Yeah, he's not the only one getting some nice and free gold.
Oh, interrupted.
And ooh, Memento goes in, doesn't get the interrupt. Let's talk about WhiteKnight and his gold. He's been able to get a lot of free stuff on Gangplank 2.0 there with the Kleptomancy.
We got Nelson in the crowd as well.
Yeah. When that recall animation finishes right before you get there, that is simultaneously the worst and best feeling ever.
Wasn't there many years ago you could kind of follow the recall if you like leaped onto it or something just when it's ended, and you would like follow it to the fountain?
No, that was on the All-Stars ARAM match.
Yeah, that one definitely.
That's why we made the Froggen rule.
I think it happened
like twice
early in the game as well. Many years ago.
Projectiles can still follow sometimes.
Yeah, they can definitely follow and slow you down or hit you in the face. Kold is here to leash some experience. Classic junglers, always stealing from the mid laners.
Yeah, I guess that much hasn't changed about him. All right, Exileh going forward, looking for Blanc.
I like how Kold walks into the mid lane, doesn't even want to gank, and Exileh just runs straight at Blanc and is like, yeah, I guess might as well get something out of this. And Blanc is forced out.
It's like when you've got your whole group of friends around you and you're like, hey, want to start a fight? Want to go?
There's always one friend in the back who's kind of just not really joining the fight, he's just yelling a lot.
He's just there, you know?
Yeah, and he's getting everyone, you know, hyped up.
That's Kold.
Insults the other guy, starts the fight, then he backs out. What I would do if me and Medic ever, you know, together got in a fight against someone, I would just stand behind Medic, and I would be the guy being like, yeah, F all of you.
So he's the... Well, at least you just said F. So he's your Braum, basically.
He's my Braum. I would stand behind Medic, that's for sure.
I guess it's fair. All right, now Exileh's getting a little bit punished, but Vlad's health bar is probably one of the most deceptive things in the game. It goes up, it goes down. Maybe it goes more down for Exileh.
I get, no, in this game he is doing just fine in this lane.
Let's go.
Oh, okay, okay.
Hello. Okay, he forces a slide and glide back from Blanc.
Oh, Blanc is still feeling safe enough. We're still waiting for level 6 in that bot lane.
Yep,
Then
it's almost there.
Kold's level 6 is here. We talked about how they need these ultis. He's on his way bottom side. Might just be to give a blue buff to his mid laner. Or is it for a gank against Norskeren, who's sitting without flash? He's waiting in the lane. If we can show Kold down in that bottom lane. Sneaky, sneaky, he's on the way.
Okay.
All right, Norskeren, no flash.
Are they going to go for Norskeren? That's the question. Now Samux waiting
got
in
ult.
the brush. Throws a couple more shots, and he pulls out. Face
Oh, they want him.
for both. AD carry and support. There's the hop. There's the jump. An instant exhaust onto Kold. But you've got to think that's going to be first blood. Pulling out those Ren stats.
I like the lane gank here, Memento.
There we go.
Knocked away this time around.
Nice job by Totoro. And Blanc was even there a little bit too late. So this is going to be free farm for Exileh. Great start for the Unicorns.
And that's why Unicorns wanted that level 6 first. So they really start looking for the action. Meanwhile, ROCCAT are still just farming with this comp here. A lot of scaling on their side. Profit does win in terms of CS, but it doesn't matter for Gangplank as long as he just keeps staying in lane.
Yeah, he doesn't need the CS. He's got the gold anyway.
Yeah, he'll get fed enough with that Klepto on his side.
It's just sitting on the Sheen and the stopwatch for now. Now Heaq pops the ace in the hole.
That's just rude.
Harass Samux at point blank range.
Tower diving him, pretty risky.
Yeah, he's not got enough mana to really do much else. Traps, but he's got Norskeren there, who hasn't quite hit level 6 yet, by the way. That was the level advantage that allowed them to do that. And the exhaust was burned in the engage, but nice play by Kold. He's back in mid lane, by the way, and he's just gonna do another wave buy.
He likes to just walk in just when there's a wave Exileh is killing. It's like, oh, sorry. Was that your experience?
Well, now he's going in counter jungle duty. Memento is going to find him here. Let's see if he can get in and get out without being detected.
It is our Cinderhold Jack's coming.
He's going to have to fight for it.
Oh,
Gets a stun off. Let's see. Exileh going in, Tides of Blood. Was it the bait or who's baiting who? Norskeren's coming in. Exileh's got the pool on. He might have to use that flash. He does. Real quick call to forge
Profit.
One direction, the other, and he goes golden, but the rest of ROCCAT have caught back on. Oh, man, that mid lane. Wrong neighborhood, Exileh.
They really want to kill Exileh right there. Bot lane, though, we have Unicorns pushing for the turret. 2 members from ROCCAT on the way down to try and fight them.
Might be able to do it.
Well,
They're going to chase away for now.
Memento this time realizes. Doesn't want to go bot lane again. Kold gets the whole mid lane on his own for once.
Yeah, now he earns the experience.
Now he gets it for Rio, but
okay.
We still look at Memento. He's so active on his Jack here. I really like to see this pick in the UOL series because, again, you can fight, you can be tanky, and you can gank. And he's doing it with the Cinderhold. Meanwhile, bot lane, no stun getting connected.
Now, if he does decide to go and dive in the bottom side, he's going to have to contend with the ward. Of course, Totoro.
Yeah, I know.
Already pushed back once. I don't think he's going to aim for it.
No, you can't tower dive this. Samux will sit with the stopwatch, and there's an Alistar with CC. It's too risky.
Now let's take a look at the last play again, where Kold starts out by getting his steal on.
Yeah, it actually starts. Kold kind of gets caught at first, and then Exileh tries to go in and deal some damage, which...
It's a good flash, though.
Ended up costing him a lot. Yeah, I think Exileh, the moment Kold walked away, could have maybe not looked for actually some damage, and ROCCAT shows how much they absolutely hate Vladimir mid. And they used everything to kill him.
Yeah. Try to stake through his heart. Now Profit goes in, looks for WhiteKnight.
Just
shoots him in the face back.
The range is actually much bigger than you expect on that little stun when you smack into a wall. Just kind of make it difficult to play against Ornn, but this one here, WhiteKnight did dodge around it. Also, will have the orange, worst case.
Well, in WhiteKnight, he's not necessarily looking to just dominate the lane, right? I mean, he's got his Trinity Force now completed.
Yeah,
the late game damage on Gangplank is insane.
That's why we're going to have some pretty sick team fights between the teams here. Unicorns trying to look for flanks with Vladimir and Rengar. On the other side of ROCCAT, they're trying to protect Heaq and Blanc in the late game fight. It's going to be fun to watch one team attacking from 2 different angles and the other one trying to just stay as a group and see if they can survive long enough.
It's going to really test the Unicorns' ability to execute on those fights, though, because that was one of the big critiques we had for this team, is that they've had a really hard time coordinating on all the levels we wanted to see. Now, Exileh, here's a familiar scene. Memento going for the collapse, and Counter-Strike gets the stun off. Sand Soldier's there. The pool's in, teleport, and they've even got the Cannon Barrage. Kold wants to turn it around, but the Emperor's Divide shoves him back. No one's down.
See Summoners used right there. Only the TP from WhiteKnight. Cancel though, so we'll be ready fairly soon again. I like the gank once again from Memento, but Kold was there to defend. But it doesn't mean there's no GP ulti now, so WhiteKnight is Not adding a lot of value for his team at the moment. He's just farming, and without the ult, he can't really help on the other side either. Giving another chance for Memento to try and pull off a gank either mid or bot lane. That one.
Oh, wow. Prophet, he wants to go all in here. He's got to be careful, WhiteKnight. He's got his flash, doesn't want to have to use it in the 1v1. Speaking of teleport, Prophet, he's almost got his off cooldown, so that's going to be a big advantage opportunity for ROCCAT to try and make a play here.
Yeah, they could try and do something bot, even if it is difficult against the stopwatch and the Alistar. There is a chance to try and get the bot lane tier 1 tower down if they want to, because of the global advantage, but they need to send Memento down here if they want to do that. Right now, he's just doing a full clear on top side. So it will be just in a minute's time if they're aiming for a play like that. Cloud Drake is also an option, even though it sucks. It is there, you can take it.
Whoa, Deficio.
Sorry.
That's the Drake that makes you go fast.
It's not as great as the other Drakes.
Ah, okay. Well, that's your opinion. But anyways, for the time being, ROCCAT don't seem like they need to pull the trigger. You talked about late game damage, you talked about scaling. They've definitely still got that in spades.
And Memento, instead of going bottom lane, he says, you know what, our top lane is winning at the moment. I can just go for Rift Herald. Does give a chance for Kold if he was around to stop it, but he's on bottom side. Looking for something on his own. Ulti is ready in like 25 seconds on his side, or 20 seconds to correct that one. But Memento did not get spotted here, so he gets his Rift Herald.
All right, Rift Herald picked up on the solo. Norskeren, EQ. Just going to back out. Alistar's incoming. I don't think they're going to fancy a dive here. Oh, maybe they do. That tower's a little low. EQ must know something's up.
And there's no stopwatch on Heaq's side, so it is definitely a lot easier to actually kill this bot lane on the turret.
Yeah, they're just going to be able to take this. He's got to back out.
So,
Norskeren's here, though. Maybe they can do it.
But Kold is around, and Exileh's here as well. Now Memento's coming bot, as we talked about before.
Totoro's tanking. They're going to look for it. Gets the trample on. Teleport coming around the side. Totoro's incredibly low here.
There's
But the
TP.
Phoenix going to pull him back. Prophet incoming. And it's the call of the Forge God. They decide to turn their attention over to the Ornn. And they almost have him down already. And it looks like WhiteKnight is going to get him from downtown.
So ROCCAT actually did try and make a play on bottom side, but it was after Unicorns just killed that turret. And they get Prophet down while WhiteKnight is still farming top lane. No one is touching him now. He's going to get a turret here unless Blanc moves up.
Yeah, WhiteKnight is just like, hey team, thanks for the assist. I got this up top. Blank's coming. I don't know if he's going to be able to do much in time, though.
But now mid lane is getting pushed in, so Unicorns of Love, huge play for them in the bot lane. Not only did they get turret, they get a kill, they get a TP. Ton of damage on this top lane tower as well. 3,000 gold lead all of a sudden for the Unicorns of Love.
Yeah. Well, we talked about coordination in fights, but coordination in play calling as well. This Unicorns looks a lot better than what we've seen in the last 3 games.
And this was, part of this was due to the investment and the time Memento spent soloing down the Rift Herald. Meant that he couldn't be bot lane and try and prevent this from happening and use that TP advantage effectively. Because he's on his way now from base after recalling. This play is so good from Unicorns of Love because they see the TP come in and then they pull in the Alistar and just throw him right at Prophet. And then they actually get that kill, plus they already got the turret.
Yeah, that was sick, in all honesty. Unicorns love building themselves up a deserved 3,000 gold lead with that second kill. Nearly knocking down another tower up top as WhiteKnight had a lot of free farm. And wouldn't you know it, that gold lead started to creep up out of control for him.
WhiteKnight also got a kill with his ulti.
Yep.
So he's up 1,500 gold over this Ornn here. Things suddenly looking great for Unicorns of Love. Kold's ulti is soon ready again. Every time it's been up, we've had some action. We've seen him active on the map. He is going for Duskblade first. We'll just get the Cloud Drake for now. They've already moved Exileh to the other side, and with his TP, Blanc cannot match. He's sitting with Ghost, with Cleanse. With Heal. Goddamn summon spells.
I mean, I guess you don't have to memorize them when the spell book is there.
With summoner spells that are not teleport is what I'm trying to say. And then he will just sit and hold mid, so right now Unicorns should have the map pressure with the winning top, with the winning bot, and they have Alistar Rengar to keep forcing picks. This is great for Unicorns.
Yeah, and it also makes it hard for Memento to utilize the Eye of the Rift Herald that he picked up earlier on.
And he spent so much time on getting it.
Yeah. I mean, he's running low. He's got about, geez, only a few more minutes to try and use it. Now Memento is actually going to get caught by Kold and Totoro. Hops over the wall. Back over to a ward. But yeah, this is looking so good for Unicorns right now.
Oh, they're fighting. They're not fighting. Fighting wards. Kill the ward.
Great play by play.
That's what I do, man.
Yeah.
I'm going to take your job.
Okay. So what you're saying is I need to get like Diamond 5 as soon as possible.
That's on you, Pyre.
Okay.
You don't have to be Diamond 5. You can just
get good.
Watch a lot of odds and talk to a lot of players and say a lot of fluff statements like I do, and then it's great.
I think you're too hard on yourself.
Like, you gotta kill that Nexus, man. That's the most important thing.
That is the objective.
And also, you gotta engage!
That's another objective. Looking for Memento! Oh! Totoro's giving his life for the cause.
No,
Oh,
he can't
will
pull in.
he? He's
Samux
just walking through the team.
Kalista,
Samux, he's gonna get pulled up to Kalista. He's gonna go down. Double kill for the Jax. That's gonna be good for ROCCAT, getting their revenge for the Rift Herald, stopping Exileh, getting chunked under tower. Now there's another chance for them to keep going here on the mid lane. 18 minutes. ROCCAT start turning these tables.
What a turnaround, man. He saw that play. Interrupt the Rift Herald, get pulled back by the Kalista, but then all of ROCCAT actually changed and started CCing Samux. So he couldn't use the ulti. That was super sick, how they actually just got 2 kills and mid lane turret. This game is just swinging back and forth.
Yeah, it's starting to get interesting. Now,
I like
UOL
it.
still holding a pretty significant gold lead, but we gotta take a look at that again.
All right, so interrupt the Rift Herald. Memento spent a ton of time getting it. Interrupt. Then he hopes he can get pulled back and saved by Samux. But the moment Samux tries to get close, he gets knocked back, so he's forced to use the stopwatch. And then he gets knocked up instantly by Norskeren on this Braum here. And then both of them actually die.
I actually want to point out, we don't often always talk about like support mechanics and things like that, but Norskeren on Braum has been a beast. When he's been up against Ornn, he's blocked just about every single call of the Forge God. The reaction times are insane. I mean, this guy entering the LCS, we talked about a lot of hot rookies, but I think he was the one that might not have raised as many eyebrows, but he should be.
I think just a lot of the new names in the ULCS have done very well here in the start, much better than we could expect for a lot of them. Normally, as a rookie, you want a bit of time, you need a few weeks to get used to the stage and the environment. But a lot of these guys have come in and just instantly look good. Like on this team, we have, as you just highlighted, Norskeren. We've seen Ruin on Giants, Tagamas as well.
And a lot of it is, down to...
And we can't forget Jizuki and Minitrupix on the side of Vitality.
Well, they're coming up next. We'll talk about them soon enough. All right, Prophet getting chased down by Exileh. Yeah, I wanted to say a lot of it, honestly, is in line with what we heard from Freddy122. I interviewed him on the opening day, talking about his team. They said they needed some time. They have a lot of potential in this squad to unlock. A lot of players that people overlooked.
But everyone says that, right?
Yeah, but he delivered, man. Oh, his team delivered.
Much earlier than expected.
Yeah.
If he wanted time, well, they're 2-1 already.
Well, clearly, the time was like about 30 seconds from when he said it.
Smart.
Yeah, okay, WhiteKnight. He tries to get the minion clear on. He is going to be able to do it. EQ tanking a few tower shots as the Cannon Barrage finishes off.
Meanwhile, Samux, most of the Unicorns pushing in mid. Kold is also just down here near the Raptor camp. Exileh just stopped his recall. They are looking for a potential tower dive, but they need to see the ROCCAT dual lane first. So now they're all recalling. They will see the dual lane back top lane, and sadly it is too late. Unicorns already completed their recalls. No one can hit WhiteKnight with these Braum Qs. He walks away, but this tower will die very soon unless Unicorns can defend it. And teams are just pulling each other around. ROCCAT trying to pull Unicorns to top side to defend this one. That allows Blanc to then push in mid and recall. Meanwhile, Unicorns are now going top to actually defend. And let's see if ROCCAT wants to react and do anything. Kold is on the other side of the map, so there's not a lot of kill pressure right now for Unicorns.
Yeah. Kold has been a little bit off in the last couple of minutes, moving around in places where ROCCAT aren't. But, I mean, as you mentioned, pulling people around, it's just because ROCCAT's been so darn sneaky about it. Here he goes. Speaking of sneaky.
ROCCAT at the moment... I need to see what
Heaq
is sitting on.
another tour of mid lane.
Heaq is not getting his vintage yet. Other side, you have Blade and Hurricane already completed. Kalista is much stronger than the Caitlyn at this point in the game. If Unicorns can keep forcing fights, they should be able to win them as well. And ROCCAT's way to kind of try and prevent that is often buy a ton of control wards, defend vision-wise as much as possible. And they are the team, as you guys can see up in the top to the left, they are the team who places the most control wards in the EULCS. Look at the inventory. 3 on the support, 1 on top, 1 on AD carry, 2 on jungler. So they invest a lot into this. It's a big thing for ROCCAT as a team. And all that information normally means they don't get too surprised by picks. But now there is a Rengar ult, and there is an Alistar who can get thrown over a wall. So you gotta be extra careful when you're moving around.
Yeah, and that is control wards, just to be specific. Not leave any doubts in anyone's mind. And for the Unicorns, I think that number, comparing that, saying, oh, they're actually the lowest team in the league for buying those wards, it kind of explains to you a little bit why they've had such hard time sniffing out opponents the last couple of games. And I feel like a lot of that, you know, they're feeling the loss of Hylissang.
Funny enough, though, with Unicorns, they've never been a team that cared much about vision. I'm not sure if Sheepy hates control wards and he tells his team never to buy them, or if it's just all the different laners are just not used to being in a situation where they have to do it. Like in this game, Doran's shield is there for Exileh, so he can't buy anything. Top lane, there's a corruption potion, so WhiteKnight can't buy any control wards. And Samux typically doesn't really do it, so that's why they get less. They can fight, though.
There is that tower dive, yeah. You don't need the vision as long as you're diving in the lane anyways.
That's
Tower's
why
going down.
the answer was always go mid for Unicorns, because then you can see everything if you just keep running at the enemy in the mid lane, and then you don't need vision on the sides.
And you know, we joke about it, but surprisingly it worked quite a lot.
It did. This team never missed playoffs, the Unicorns of Love. Had bad starts before and then bounced back fairly quickly during the regular season and still made it into top 6. They're looking to do the same in this one, down 0-3 in the UOL CS. This looks to be the game where they can get their first win.
They're going to have to finish it off, of course. I mentioned earlier the secret, very important analysis. The Nexus is the most important objective. Unicorns got to get that one if they want to actually start getting on the board.
And that's what they learned against Spice last week.
That was close, man.
Unicorns of Love was winning that game for 97% of it. And that's not a random number. It was 97% of it. They were in a goal lead. And then they lost the game due to a base race by like 50 HP.
That I believe they started as well. It's kind of hard to tell, though. At that point, everything was absolute insanity.
Both teams committed to it.
Yeah.
Unicorns almost managed to win that one.
And that's a heartbreaker, too, when you're already having trouble in games early on in the split. But as you pointed out, Unicorns have bounced back before. They've reformed rosters before.
Oh, and look at this. Memento did not go for the full tank Jax act. He wanted the Trinity Force instead because he got 2 early kills. Sterix might come in from him then as the second full completed item, just to combine the Sterix tankiness and base damage increase with the Trinity Force. So and then go tank after that.
Does this tell you that he's going to be looking for more side push for the time being? No, don't answer that yet. There's a fight. Norskeren getting the knockup, looking for more, and it's chaos in the mid lane. Exileh in the middle trying to hunt down Heaq, but he's going to get stopped up and taunted. Tides of Blood, Ace in the hole. Totoro wants to intercept it. Heaq's going to finish him off. And with the Forge God rampaging through, there was nothing the Unicorns could do. Kold looking for an angle, but he couldn't quite find one. And in the end, Prophet picks up a double. WhiteKnight is here to pick up the pieces of his team.
That was a very big team fight for ROCCAT here. They just went mid against the Unicorns of Love. They found the engage they were looking for. Baron, 25 minutes in being started. WhiteKnight still full HP.
Yeah, Kold's still here. He's got Flash if he needs it to try and get the theft off, but ROCCAT getting the Baron down. Can Kold do it? Looking for the hop in. Norskeren. He finds a Winter's Bite proc. He may not have a chance. They're going to chase him off the stun. They have almost all the damage they need. He doesn't have a chance to get in. WhiteKnight, last-ditch effort, not going to happen. So ROCCAT grab the fight, get the Baron, and go home.
And this is why ROCCAT are currently 2-1 in the UOL CS. Late game, they have some really good calls. The start of the team fight here, it's a good setup where Heaq gets a lot of free damage onto the Alistar, and then when the engage happens, notice how 4 members of ROCCAT are already here, ready to take the fight. Heaq flashes out, stays alive, Exileh gets stunned, and now the backline, we talked about this much earlier, as long as ROCCAT's backline stays safe, they can deal enough damage to kill Unicorns of front line, and that's exactly what happened here. Heaq did not die, Blanc was barely touched. They win the fight here as WhiteKnight wasn't even there, ready to join. That was a different kind of dap.
Yeah.
Oh, it's more like...
Norskeren has quite a compilation of emotes already, but yeah, you can look at how lopsided that fight.
We're ready every single time he's doing something now. We will show it.
You could look at how lopsided that fight was with Exileh doing the lion's share of his team's damage, of course, because he was in the thick of it. But right now, Kold, he wasn't even involved. You saw him sniffing around the side. He didn't pull the trigger to try and dive bound past the tower for Heaq. And ROCCAT, they're just going to be getting the siege on. Totoro's almost taken down to 0.
And ROCCAT also not giving a chance for a potential steal here, getting a lot of damage on Kold, knocking him away. But funny enough, again, it was Unicorns that went for the re-engage after we'd already started the fight. ROCCAT was only there with 2 members at first. Then suddenly the Alistar gets thrown in. Then Exileh dives in without having WhiteKnight and Kold there. Now more members are almost dying.
Yeah, okay. Let's see if Unicorns get the re-engage this time. Totoro's thrown in. They find Memento. He's going to go golden. And the call of the Forge God's going to knock a few people back for a few seconds. Now ROCCAT trying desperately to escape. But it looks like Kold and Exileh trying to cut them off. And it's a tight battle right here. This is going to be hard. Oh my goodness, Kold gets evaporated. Tides of Blood, and everything is not enough for Exileh to get a kill. That Hemoplague just wasn't virulent enough. Now Totoro going in for a third wind effort, but he is going to give his life, and battered and bruised, ROCCAT persevere.
Unicorns were looking for the flanks here with the Vladimir, with that Rengar. They tried to get onto Blanc and Heaq, but they didn't have the damage to kill him. Great Azir ulti from Blanc once again. Kold is not able to assassinate anyone on this Rengar. The backline stays safe from ROCCAT, and they win another fight.
Scarier and scarier too is Memento. He's the one getting a lot of these kills after the fact, so he's not getting any weaker, and you can see why he picked up some of these items. Now ROCCAT, they're a little bit low, but it's going to be pretty easy for them to finish off an inhibitor down bottom side. Take the first of the game at 28 minutes, back out with that Baron-empowered recall, and Unicorns are left bleeding.
We have to see again with Unicorns aloft. So let's remember, guys, Exileh and Kold want to flank in and get to Heaq and Blanc in the back line. The rest of ROCCAT want to stay together as a team and defend these two carries. Norskeren's ulti blocks off Exileh and Kold at first, and then let's see what happens when they actually jump in. Blanc is ready with ult. When he sees the Rengar, instantly knocks him away and kills him. Exileh then can't get in and actually get enough damage on the back line. Great defense from ROCCAT, and now they can just re-engage and pick up more kills. Good team fighting once again.
And we're just seeing the better coordination from ROCCAT's side in the late game, and visible frustration on the face of Kold after that. He just can't find an opening in these fights, and ROCCAT, they're deathballing up for a reason.
But one thing for Unicorns is they need to time the engage from the Alistar with the Rengar and the Vladimir coming in at the same time. Otherwise, it's too easy for ROCCAT to just knock Kold away and deny him an entrance. But the ulti or the engage was used near that tier 2 tower much earlier in the fight. Kold and Exileh had to run all the way around the Grump camp before they got in range to do something. And that allowed Blanc to just save ulti, save it, and only use it when the Rengar jumps.
Yeah. Huge credit to Blanc here for knowing exactly what he needed to do in the right time. Hasn't died this game. In fact, most of the team hasn't died this game. If you're ROCCAT, only the support, only the top lane. Let's see.
Oh, big one. That's the next game.
Oh yeah, we do. It's a hype matchup.
Undefeated Vitality taking on Misfits.
World's Contenders Misfits.
World's Contenders, that's very true.
As well as Summer Split finalists of last year. Of course, it is a slightly different squad. Like most teams here in Europe, Vitality being no exception. Now, back into this one though, ROCCAT. The siege is on, 4 members strong. They may not have the Baron anymore, but they certainly don't need it. A handful of minions seems to be all they require to try and keep this push going. And Unicorns, they're cowed inside the base. Meanwhile, Prophet pushing in the middle up against WhiteKnight. And Unicorns, this base is crumbling.
And flanking gets harder and harder when you push this far into your base. There's no way for Kold and Exileh to really get behind ROCCAT. They can see them right in front of them. That's exactly where ROCCAT wants to be. Perfect situation for them. Can they get down the last inhib turret? That's a no for now. We might get a fight.
There's the cutoff. WhiteKnight looking for the cannon barrage, but do they have enough damage right now? Norskeren hopping back. Hemoplague is on.
That's a big one
to go through. That is huge right now. Can they get the kills? Kold goes gold. Let's see if they can fire off enough damage. It doesn't look like it. ROCCAT managed to stay alive. The death ball will live.
Unicorns cannot kill the ROCCAT backline. Another team fight in their favor. 11-2 in total kills. They already got super minions here. They're going for the finish, and we're only 31 minutes into the game.
That was the last-ditch effort from the Unicorns, but unfortunately they will not be able to find victory today. Dropping down to 0-4 after all said and done. The last Nexus turret gonna get fired down. Totoro, Samux, WhiteKnight desperately trying to keep this one alive. Norskeren, he's walking it out. It's nice and easy. ROCCAT once again have not lost a man, and they close this one out. 31.5.
Great team fighting from ROCCAT, understanding how to win the fights every time. They never were the ones who went super aggressive on Unicorns to try and dive onto Samux. No, they ignored Samux for most of it. They played back, they defended with the Braum first and then the Azir ulti. Great game from Norskeren again. We gotta highlight that on the Braum, but also from Blanc. And how he saves that Azir ulti. It's so key against a comp that wants to dive in and try and kill that backline. And we gotta see it for Unicorns of Love. Synergy in team fights up there.
It was better this time around, but it just wasn't enough. And once the game got to the late stages, ROCCAT slipped into that comfort zone and reacted with incredible precision. All credit to this team going up 3-1 near the top of the table. after very few people predicted they would.
We now have Giants, we have ROCCAT, we have Vitality all sitting at the top in the EULCS.
The rise of the underdogs, man. It's a real story.
Definitely true, definitely true. And Unicorns will fall down to 0-4. The only team in the EULCS to not win a game yet. And a lot of things to work on for this squad. But ROCCAT gets the team fight in mid lane. Funny enough, started by Unicorns.
Yeah. Which is kind of the case.
Win the fight, 5v3, take the Baron cleanly. And then from there on and out, they knew exactly what to do in every single fight, and it never felt like Unicorns had a chance to win the game after that. But ROCCAT, they were down after the early game.
Yeah.
Didn't matter.
No, that's the thing. Like, a lot of teams, a lot of newer teams too. You know, there's some fresh faces, of course. There's some more experienced ones, but not always gaining a lot of the note that a lot of other players have throughout the history of EULCS. These guys want to make their mark, and they're clearly demonstrating that they have nerves of steel to be able to come back into a game after being down, honestly, never looking uncomfortable.
Exactly, and Jungle Jacks.
Yeah.
Finally in Europe.
Oh, it's
Memento,
fantastic.
thank you very much for playing Jungle Jacks. I also respect the build with Trinity Force and Sterix. Want to go for some more kills?
He did such a good job that he's going to be one of those options for the player of the game. And our analysts have picked out not only Memento, but Blanc and Norskeren as candidates for player of the game. So head over to @LOLesports on Twitter. Vote for your favorite. We're going to highlight that one after the break. I mean, Deficio, who would you give that to? Because I feel like ROCCAT altogether looked pretty solid.
Yeah, I'm probably on either Blanc or Norskeren for this game here. I think Blanc had a flawless performance, 100% kill participation. Funny enough, Norskeren also 100%.
Yeah, I mean, when this guy's on Braum,
him.
it's insane, and like people aren't banning it away from him right now. So
I mean, it's just a game that came down to team fighting, and I think those two guys really stood out. Memento, of course, had a pretty clean Jax game. So 3 good candidates, pretty hard to pick the best one.
I know. Well, we'll see what Twitter thinks after that. But yeah, I mean, ROCCAT, I thought at the beginning of the day, Giants, hey man, it looks so good. Can ROCCAT live up to it? Well, they certainly delivered. Now, in just a few minutes, Lars is going to check in with Norskeren to get some insight on ROCCAT's win, and we also have the rising stars of Vitality going up against last Blitz finalist Misfits Gaming. So don't you go anywhere. They load up, and of course, the Unicorns faithful.